For the first time in 331 days, Big Ten Wrestling returns to Jenison Fieldhouse. It's Maryland and Michigan State coming up next on Big Ten Plus. Hello everyone, I'm Jacob Maurer alongside Eric Olenowski as we welcome you into Jenison Fieldhouse for this matchup between the Maryland Terrapins and the Michigan State Spartans. Eric, both these teams getting a little different start to their weekend. We'll start first with Michigan State. They took a trip down to Happy Valley to face off against the number one team in the country, the Penn State Nittany Lions. It was a tough boat for Michigan State. They lost 56-0 in the team score. How did they get that momentum back in this one here today?
Yeah, Jacob, for the key for the Michigan State Spartans to get their momentum back to where they were in the last few years is making sure that you get back to Michigan State wrestling. The tier of team that they lost to in Penn State is arguably one of the greatest teams that Penn State is ever going to put out on the mat. So for the Michigan State Spartans, in that matchup, the key was for once the whistle blew, a lot of those Michigan State wrestlers, the first initial step was back. So for here tonight, the Michigan State Spartans have to come out and they have to take forward steps, starting to look for offense of their own rather than counter offense. Against Penn State, they relied too heavily on the counter offense, tried to score off Penn State's mistakes, which they didn't make any. So for the Michigan State Spartans, come here and start to move forward. Look for offense and put points on the board.
And they'll be facing off against Maryland here today, and a great start to their weekend. They went just 70 miles south of East Lansing to face off against the number 10 team in the country, the Michigan Wolverines, and beat them based on criteria tiebreakers, 19-18, their first top 10 victory for the program since 2009. They're riding on an extreme high right now. How do they keep that up?
Yeah, for the Maryland Terps, it was extremely impressive what they were able to do. And I'll just say this, as a guy being from the DMV, the Delaware, Maryland, Virginia area, growing up there, I think back to the early 2000s and mid-2000s where you had Maryland greats like Hudson Taylor and Mikey Letts and Stevie Ball. All of those guys took the Maryland program to the top of the ACC where they were for somewhat of 10 years. And then they come over to the Big Ten and you didn't see the success transition. And now you're starting to see Alex Clemson take his program and put his mark on it. We saw what he was able to do at the University of Missouri under the coaching staff with Brian Smith. Brian Smith gave him the highest praise to get this Maryland job, and you're starting to see why Coach Brian Smith did that for the Maryland Terps.
Yeah, and just looking down this card here today, there's a lot of entertaining matchups, but one we're going to pick out that really stands out. It's the 141-pound bout. That's between Daro Lemus of the Terrapins and Jaden Crumpler for Michigan State. This one should be a fun one in a match that's going to be pretty close. This could be the decider.
Yeah, and this is one of those matches where you look on paper, and Maryland, some say 6'4", 7'3", but this is at 141 is one of those matches where I feel like Michigan State can steal one, and not only I feel like that, in speaking with the coaching staff this morning, they also said this is a matchup where we feel that they might be slightly favored, but we feel we have advantages. When you look at what Crumpler was able to do against Bo Bartlett on Friday night, he was able to go out there, and earlier I mentioned how Michigan State, the athletes, constantly took a step backwards. So for the Michigan State Spartans and Jaden Crumpler, I think he was the most mentally prepared to compete on Friday night. So for him, I want to see that transition over and pick up some points because we did see Bo Bartlett get deep on multiple shots. So for Crumpler, try to look for your offense instead of focusing on counter offense.
Well, it should be a fun one between Maryland and Michigan State, the first Big Ten duel at Jenison Fieldhouse. In Michigan State, if you're down 17-3, this is go time. This is where you need to start getting these wins and perhaps bonus points if you want a chance in this duel.
Yeah, and you say that, but now we get to the meat of the lineup when you have John here, and then Jackson Smith is next, and then, of course, you end things out with Seth Neville. So you have two of the next three wrestlers coming up ranked in the top 20 of the country.
John ranked 32 in the country, and if you're going to have an upset win like Maryland did on Friday night against Michigan, you need to have some upset bouts. John did against number 25, Joseph Walker, winning that one 5-4. Both him and Garza feeling each other out right now. Under 2:10 to go in the first. Trying to shoot his Garza.
this was the match Clemson circled when talking about the match that he wanted to look for. And I asked him why this match in particular, and he said, I feel like these guys are somewhat evenly matched, and it adds a little bit with both of them being from Cali. So a couple Cali boys wrestling here in the snow.
John, another Maryland competitor from Clovis, California. Garza from Oakdale, went to Oakdale High School.
Just another one of the guys from the Michigan State pipeline coming through California. I feel like Roger Chandler has built a strong pipeline when you think back over the last few years. We didn't see Tristan Luan today, but expect him back in the lineup pretty soon. Cali guy Cesar Garza, who you're seeing now. Cali guy Chase Aldade, who left. Cali guy. I mean, the list, I could go 10 years back. Javier Gasca, of course, Big Ten finalist for the Spartans, and this is danger.
We are getting close to a pin for Garza. There's a takedown from John.
And that was tactical and that was methodical. It was a slow finish, and that's oftentimes what I feel like young wrestlers get in the habit of doing, is trying to finish shots so quickly that they lose their technique rather than slowing down your technique and increasing your finish rate. I mean, let's just use Clayton Jones, for example, a guy who was in 6 times on shots but could not finish a shot because he was trying so fast to finish.
Garza trying to escape before the first, and he does. That could be a big point later on. So we arrive to under 4 seconds to go. Both wrestlers not in a hurry to shoot here, and that will be the end of the first period. Branson John takes a 3-1 lead into the second. Branson John, freshman as we mentioned. Coach Clemson said he's a tough dude. He might be one of the best unsigned seniors in the country. He's certainly proved it right now, ranked number 32 in the country with a top 25 win on Friday. If he can get one here today, he can see himself go up those individual rankings. There's the escape from Garza.
Beautiful little shoulder roll to that left side. Granby roll came up to his feet, cut that left arm, went ear to his shoulder, continued to roll, work that hip, created some sort of separation, and picked up that 1 point. So a pair of escapes for Cesar Garza, but that's not going to win you matches. You have to go get some takedowns.
Both headlocked right now. Garza trying to find a way to get that takedown. And if you're Branson John, are you still aggressive? We talked about it earlier in the 165 about just staying aggressive, or you're just happy with the score right now as Cesar Garza trying to make a move there and gets the takedown.
Beautiful misdirection shot from Cesar Garza.
The escape for John.
And now what Cesar Garza has to do, you call this the waterfall position. So he comes up over the top, both legs get draped over, and you have to isolate one side. Is it either the right or the left? So they're going to give 3 near fall because Branson John's back was exposed to the mat. And now you see Coach Alex Clemson.
Those points to try to tie it up.
Here we go.
Maryland will lose their challenge. It is confirmed that it was a takedown, and then they just had to edit the riding time. So maybe that's the delay that they had, because now that you have the takedown, you need to look at the riding time for Cesar Garza. So both will reset in the middle. John trying to escape here before the second ends.
Oh.
And he does. 8-5 now. 10 seconds to go in the second. And 2 minutes will decide this one in the third period. John will start on the bottom, Garza on top. 23 seconds, riding time advantage belongs to John. Every time Garza is on top, that dwindles down. And John able to escape there. Riding time is stopped, still favored in John's direction. Won't matter unless he can get a takedown and have that eclipse over a minute. And now, Eric, do we go to the same mentality that we saw earlier? Is Cesar Garza just trying to finish this out, hold him to no takedown? Is John getting close there? As the leg of Garza.
And now he's going to have to bail, or he's going to have to get his hips back as far as he can. And at this point, you want to stay at the ankle. I like where Cesar Garza is at the knee, but he has to either work to build a base or work to build a stalemate, and that's exactly what he did. Smart from Cesar Garza.
So gets a stalemate, they'll start neutral at the center, and a caution issued to Garza. And Garza not trying to be conservative here, he went right for the shoot. Under 50 seconds in this one, Garza up by 2.
A swing single, gets his head to the inside, has his hands locked. And now John looking for that cradle on that right side. So Cesar Garza going to come up, pick his head up. Now he isolates one side and he's going to hook it with his bottom leg and pay attention to his right hip. His right hip is going to continue to go away from us towards John, and that's exactly what he does, and he picks up the takedown.
Beautiful analysis there, my friend. Takedown for Cesar Garza. He's up by 5.
He has to let this ankle go. He's going to get hit for stalling for a second time, and he's smart. Once it gets to 5, they'll hit you with that stalling. He's been hit, lets it go at 4. Solid, experienced wrestle from Cesar Garza.
Garza, only a redshirt sophomore for Michigan State, but wrestling like a veteran right now. 3 seconds to go here in the third. Caution again issued.
That's his second.
So one more until it counts, but it won't matter. And that's it for the third. Michigan State gets back on the board. Cesar Garza wins by decision, 11-6. It's a good ovation from this Michigan State crowd. We're back. Maryland 17, Michigan State 6. Big win there by the Spartans.
They needed that one.
For Junior Spartans Day. Host duel, be sure to stick around as the 2025
You can see there the dagger by Garza. The takedown just towards the edge of the mat. And there, he's holding the ankle there. Drops it just before the stalling call is issued. 17-16 Maryland after 7. We'll take a 2-minute break right here on Big Ten Plus. £184 getting ready to go. Luke Daly and Jackson Smith going at it. Jackson Smith ranked number 13 in the country at 184 pounds. Hit a 4-1 decision takedown at the buzzer against number 19, Jaden Bullock on Friday. Again, another upset win. Huge win for the Terps to get that upset win against Michigan on Friday. Luke Daly did not wrestle for Michigan State on Friday against Penn State. Chandler unhappy with the call there. Call is that both went out of the circle.
And the most impressive part about that throw for Jackson Smith on Friday night against Jaden was that lateral drop was unconventional. It was on the left side rather than the right side. So most people, 99% of wrestlers, throw on the right side. So for him to do it against a high-level guy, I mean, that's That's tight as it comes. That's going to be 6 on the board for the Terps. Wow.
That's a pin by Jackson Smith.
184 pounds.
Just a minute and 17 seconds in.
1 minute.
We get our first pin of the dual meet belonging to Jackson Smith. That's 6 team points for Maryland.
97-pound weight class presented by Mike Fitzgerald, proud supporter of MSU Wrestling and the Takedown.
You see on the replay there, both shoulder blades down.
Redshirt senior from Downtown, Pennsylvania, Chase Milnick.
Winner by the fall. It's Jackson Smith, and we'll move right into the next one, 197.
Did I fuck something up there? I was following Leonard. Sorry if I flashed.
Remy Cotton, wrestling for Michigan State. Quickly,
Beautiful
Cotton
shot.
with the takedown.
Ran underhook on the left side, then went knee pick with the right. Found double legs. Ended up closing out the takedown and now working on the top. And Cotton with that right knee heavily taped. But it's not impacting him. It's one of those things where you see these guys with these heavily taped knees, and he goes out here and he's competing like nothing's wrong.
Cotton did not compete for Michigan State on Friday. The only Michigan State wrestler ranked in the top 25. One of the best for Michigan State. He's a redshirt freshman for the Spartans. 8-4 this season, 2-1 in duels. Chase Milnick, the competitor for the Terps, had a tech fall to Jacob Cardenas against Michigan on Friday. Trying to bounce back here today against Cotton.
Oh.
Nearly a takedown for Milnick, turns into an almost takedown for Cotton. Michigan State, their bench asking for Cotton to take that right foot down.
Wow. That's strength right there to fight that off. Dead to rights for all but 30 seconds and somehow found a way to get his hips back up. And that's an improvement I would like to see from the Spartans, is the primary defense has been go immediately to your butt, lock in the crotch, and try and scoot your hips to pick up a takedown, rather than the conventional defense where it would be hips back, shoelaces down, and then fight to work to break a lock. I think that's an improvement long term that I would like to see for the Spartans, is kind of work on that defense a little bit more, because they're giving up a few too many takedowns fighting off their butt.
.30 seconds to go. As Cotton gets another takedown for Michigan State. We'll see if Milnick can try to get out of this one, earn the escape point before the buzzer to end the first period. Cotton just trying to stay on top. 5 seconds to go.
Good period for Cotton. 2 takedowns.
About 46 seconds of riding time on top of that. He leads it 6-1 after 1. So we'll take a look at these. There are 2 previews, 2 major decisions on the year for Remy Cotton. 8-4 on the season. Milnick 9-9, a senior for the Terps. Cotton from Traverse City, Michigan, went to Davidson High School, wrestled for the Cardinals there.
1 point on the escape for Remy Cotton.
So he gets the escape point.
That's a program that has historically, you think of the greats that have come out there. John Reeder, of course, for example, a guy, NCAA champion at Iowa State. Talking Paul Donahoe, NCAA champion at Edinburgh, multiple-time NCAA champion Brett Metcalf. It's Roy Hall building that Davidson program into a perennial powerhouse on the high school level. Remy Cotton, a product from Davidson, Michigan, as you mentioned.
And he continues to be aggressive, and it pays off. Another takedown for Cotton. And now he starts to enter bonus point territory. Already has the 8. needed for the major decision.
Yeah, and with Seth Neville's coming up next, you're going to need bonus points here. Remy Cotton, a guy who has a 9-point lead, but he's not going to be content just picking up a major decision. He's going to be looking for the tech here.
And on the Jackson Smith pin, Maryland has already won the dual meet. And Cotton continues to be aggressive. He lets Milnick escape and trying to get back on top for the takedown. A stall has been issued, 1 point for Cotton.
Oh, beautiful go behind.
And he keeps the toes in for the takedown. Just beautiful textbook stuff there by Cotton. He's up 14-2. 20 seconds to go in the second.
Short time.
You mentioned it earlier, Eric. It does not seem like that knee is bothering Cotton at all here. Just continues to be aggressive. That riding time eclipsing 90 seconds already for Cotton.
Just changes direction so well on his low-level attacks. Gets to that low-level attack, and right when you try and defend it, you think he's going right, and by the time you start your defense on that right side, he's already going left. And at that point, it's too late. The 3 points are given. Yeah, and they're going to hit Milnick with stalling sooner or later. Anytime you have head down, hips down, and you're breathing as hard as he is, not really trying to pick up an escape.
And Cotton has already clinched the riding time. We'll get a point at the end of the third for that. Keeps that toe in. Finally leaves the circle.
So yeah, I think they should. I think Cotton should let him go, cut him, come up to his feet, and start looking for another takedown. Because 14-2, you go 14-3 with the escape, and another takedown makes it 17-3.
And then you still need one more after that, but he does let him go. I was just about to ask you about that. If he goes for the tech fall there.
Right, but also you have to keep in mind the riding time, in essence, is locked up.
That's right, too.
So now
there's the takedown by Cotton, up 17-3. Milnick will escape. So 17-4 now, 13-point lead for Cotton. And the riding time only gives him 1, so he needs another takedown if he wants the tech fall. He'll have 50 seconds to do so.
Wow.
Tries to get behind him. And there it is. Tech fall for Remy Cotton. Dominates at 197 for Michigan State and proves why he is ranked in the top 25 for the Spartans.
97 pounds by technical fall from Michigan State University, Remy Cotton.
And just dominance all around in that match for Remy Cotton. Much everyone for joining us here on Big Ten Plus. To our producer Jason Laplow, myself Jacob Maurer, Eric Olenowski joining me as well, Jenna Arnold, our director. We thank you so much for joining us here on Big Ten Plus. Again, your final: Maryland moves to 2-0 in the Big Ten Conference, wins it 27-11 over Michigan State. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your Sunday.